So today we're in St. George, Utah at the Washington County Library, and let's go see if we meet up with a friend of mine. Today we are back here in St. George, Utah. Come over here to see my friend through the 3D printing professor over here. How you doing, brother?
Makerspace. So, hey, I love that camera.
It's been 4 years since we did a video.
Yes.
And at that time, we were wearing masks.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Don't remind me, boy. I'm happy to be moving past that. But yeah.
So one of the things that changed. Now I know about this because we talked, and I actually came here since then, but I just didn't do a video. The floor has changed a lot.
So it was funny because the Makerspace was closed during COVID, but being as we are in a semi-rural area in southern Utah, it was not closed because of COVID.
Right.
But what happened was, and if you look up Washco Library flood, you can see a video of this. It's so cool. We got a nasty rain out here. It was a good desert rain, and it raised the water table enough that this building became a boat in the sand that was anchored down, and it caused across the floor down here, the floor buckled and cracked and let in about 2 inches of water. Now, over there, they don't have drains. Over here, we got a drain, and so all the water flooded through here, but there was no damage down here.
Where's the drain at?
Oh, it's right over here by the laser cutter.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, which was really good because I found all kinds of stuff that have been falling underneath my desk.
I know, washed
right to the drain. So they had to repair that entire floor. They had to tear everything up. They cut the power lines accidentally. And so while they were tearing everything up, I got to learn how to check out books upstairs because
nice.
So the Makerspace ended up, and then while they were doing that, they were like, "Hey, while we're spending money, let's get you a nice new floor."
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of
it's
fun.
all epoxy, right?
It's epoxy resin. It's 3 layers of epoxy resin: a sealing layer, the pretty layer, and then the clear coat layer on top of it. Here, come take a look. Come really close over here. Do you see these little like planetoids that are in it?
Yeah.
Like these little dots. Specks of dust would push away the epoxy resin, and they had to come back in and clean those specks out. Just cleaned a little bit of dust that was in them out and refill them with a little bit more epoxy resin. I would not do this. It was a pain in the neck. I would never do this myself. But the result is beautiful. I
really
absolutely
is.
love it.
Turned out great.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, give us a tour.
Yeah. So this is what I do for my day job. I work. The screen just turned off. Are we still going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still going.
So this is what I do for my day job. I do videos about 3D printing, and then I work at a makerspace. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Honestly.
Yeah, you are.
I really do.
Not many people get to do what they love.
I love this. We've got 3D printers. We've got a couple of those. Over here in the corner, we've got a laser cutter as well. It's a full spectrum Muse CO2 laser cutter, so it can cut through, acrylic and things like that. It can't cut through metal, but it does clear acrylic like a champ.
Awesome.
Now we also have a sewing machine over here, and then we've got various soldering stations all around and just workstations and stuff like that. And I'm constantly working on new projects for the kids so that they can have something to do when they come in. Kids, adults, whoever wants to come in. But this is actually, the libraries here are a part of a system of libraries. So there is 7 different libraries in the southern Utah area. They all have 3D printers, but if you go to Washington, they've got a green screen room and a sound recording room. If you go to Hurricane, they've got they've got a nice sewing table. Right. They've got embroidery machine. What's the 4 threads come in and it cuts and sews, and the serger. Okay. They've got a serger over there. So that one's our little sewings and crafting and stuff like that. And so this maker space is a part of all of the maker spaces in southern Utah that you can participate in, and training on one will transfer to the other.
Do you get to work at the different?
Yes, I do.
Oh, nice.
If their 3D printers need servicing, it's my job to go out there and be their guy. So that's why I get to go visit Enterprise way out there, and Springdale up by Zions. And so it's not like I'm not like traveling, country to state, but I get to go all over southern Utah and make this.
Which almost, when you go to different parts of Utah, it's like going to a different state every single place you go.
Well, definitely from southern Utah to Provo to northern Utah.
Yeah,
there's a huge change all up and down that Wasatch Front.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
All most people see is going up I-15 to I-70. That's all they really see. They don't understand.
And then cut across to Colorado or whatever.
So last night I got to go to dinner with him and his beautiful wife, and I'll tell you what, it was amazing seeing the scenery between where they live and St. George.
Yeah, we took the back route. We went around past Sand Hollow.
Yeah.
So we got to see the lake, but then I love the mountains. They look like waves of rock that are just kind of frozen in time. It's gorgeous.
I have never been through that part of Utah. I did not know it existed. It's like they have
that's my back door, man.
It's like a Pismo Beach, except at his back door.
Yeah. Well, and just around the corner, there's great hiking. I should be in much better shape for as beautiful as this place is, because I should be out there hiking it all the time.
I live in California, and
well, we can be out of shape anywhere we are. It's life goals.
Well, tell me, which one is your daily driver when it comes to your 3D printing?
So I actually don't. I try to keep these machines available, open to the patrons, because I have 3D printers at home.
Right.
And the 3D printers that I have at home are next-gen 3D printers. I've got, a FlashForge Adventurer 5, but we've got the FlashForge Adventurer 3. So this one is much, much slower.
Yeah.
I've got Carbon X1s and I've got Creality K1s. I do like the size of the Raise N2 Plus over here. This thing will print about 2 feet by 2 feet, or not 2. This will print about 13 inches by 13 inches by about 2 feet tall. This will 3D print a small child.
That is awesome.
Okay, it is huge, but it will take it like 3 days to do.
Right. Wow, that is a huge machine.
It is. It's fantastic, and I feel like if you have a makerspace, you should have at least one large capacity machine, but then you should have several smaller ones, because you want to encourage people to get in and out and get out of the way for the next person.
Right.
But you do want to have the capability of doing bigger, and this is part of the problem. I don't see a whole lot of really big next-gen machines.
Right. You don't see them very often anymore.
Well, because once you scale up the size, you also have to scale up the rigidity.
Right.
And it takes an exponential increase in price.
Right.
A Carbon X1, everybody's saying, the next Carbon X1 should be much larger. And I agree, but it's going to be 6 times more expensive.
Right.
And you just got to expect that. And the Carbon X1 is already a $1,000 3D printer. So we're talking $8,000 for that 3D printer, and people are going to go, "Oh, really?" Yeah. That's why they're not doing it. They know that's going to happen.
Right. Sorry about that. We cut the camera. The gentleman came in to go see you, so didn't want to put that on film. So when it comes to a printer that you have in this room, which is the one that is your go-to printer when it comes to just everyday small parts?
It's still the Adventurer 3 if I'm choosing ones that are here, because despite the fact that these machines are both the same age, the Adventurer 3 and the Raise, this one has remained reliable.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a factor of the size of it, or a factor of just it's a better built machine, but the Raise is starting to miss steps and skip and stuff like that. So if I have something that I just need to crack it out, I pull up FlashForge, I beam it to these printers, and I'm going.
That is awesome.
That's the one that I'm using today, because I need to make an adapter for a laser cutter that I'm testing.
Okay. This is a PLA, or?
Yeah, just PLA.
Okay.
We try to encourage the patrons to print in PLA, and it's good enough for most applications.
Right. That's awesome. So we were talking before on off camera. This was actually a Monoprice branded.
They call it the Monoprice Voxel, but besides this little thing on the cover, and they had rebranded the firmware, so the firmware was all night mode actually.
Okay.
it was otherwise exactly a FlashForge. And the problem was, whenever FlashForge would update their firmware, Monoprice had to then go back and modify it and then push it out. And they got tired of doing that.
Right.
And so eventually, after I was talking to them on support, they were like, just go online and figure out how to hack it. I'm like, did support just tell me to hack that? Okay, cool. And there is a way to, what you do is you load a specialized firmware on here, a very slightly modified. So what you do is you find out the last version of the firmware that you have.
Okay.
You download the next version of the firmware, but you hack it so that it will ignore the checks to make sure that it's the right machine.
Right.
Because it's a Monoprice machine, the old firmware says, no, I'm not a FlashForge. You just modify the FlashForge firmware to not do that check.
Yeah.
It'll load itself on there, and then it'll automatically go out over Wi-Fi and go, oh, FlashForge has updated the firmware several times. Let's update this again. And you're up to the latest and greatest.
So now the Venture 3, the FlashForge Venture 3 that was a Monoprice Voxel
yeah,
is now back to being a Venture 3, but
it's the, just kind of, you know,
that's
let's
awesome.
grab a little bit of electrical tape and cover
And
that
what
up.
he was showing me is you can actually load your
Well, this is not new now,
right.
but the fact that
Well,
this
it's new to
machine-
me because I've been out of the
you're
loop
still-
for a little bit.
But if you take and load a print on this and stick it in here and start the print, the first thing it does is it takes the print and copies it off the media onto a local memory on here. So
Okay.
when you're done, or when you've started the print, you can yank this out and it will not affect your print. It's not reading it off of there constantly. And this is things that all the next gen 3D
Yeah.
printers do. Clipper printers do this. But they were doing this 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I was telling people, this thing, you guys need to check this out. And the community was like, my Ender 3 is cheaper.
So of course he could take the same USB stick, stick it in the next one,
Yeah, and
load
start
it,
another print.
and start another print right now, and it would
Well,
not
and
miss
the-
a step. That's awesome.
The other fun thing is when you go into build here, you'll see that it's got the memory stick and it's got the internal memory. So you have a memory of all the past prints that you've done. And in fact, I've got a ton of them on here that I need to clean off.
Wow.
It's actually not hard to clean it off. Just tap and hold one of them for 3 seconds. And then select all and deletes, and we can wipe them all out that way.
Wow.
There's probably going to be 1 or 2 that I want to keep, though. So I'm
Right.
going to sit
You
here.
don't want to do that right now.
The other problem is big fat man fingers, but a pencil, graphite pencil, reacts
needs a
with it
stylus?
just fine. Yeah, that's my stylus right there. Stylus that a patron put through the laser cutter.
There you go. And then we were talking, you have another project coming up pretty well. You have, first off, you're printing out your adapter.
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I've always got a video that I'm working on. Actually, if I can show you a project that I'm working
Sure.
on that I'm super excited about. Let me grab.
Yes.
Let me grab this. But you know, I don't know if you've seen my printer blocks. But
Yes, I
they're
have.
these interconnecting building blocks that I've made. Well, my newest printer blocks are bins
Wow.
of varying sizes.
Okay.
And the idea being that you can create your own. Now, there's already 3D printed organizational systems
Right.
out there, and some of them are slightly more space efficient because these walls have to be fairly thick to accommodate the connectors.
Right.
But a couple of advantages to print a block storage bins is that, one, you don't need to have any base plate or anything to put them on. There's no additional hardware required whatsoever. Also, these could potentially stack 3-dimensionally or sideways, or you can do
gotcha.
whatever you want with them. I am also adding, I'm going to be adding drawers.
Wow.
So you could build your own drawer storage system, and you could incorporate it with, you know,
Yeah.
the whole system. So it creates a environment of, you know, I haven't released this yet.
Right.
I'm still, for the most part, actually, the only
That's
thing
why
that
you
I'm-
want to subscribe to his channel, because that way you can see it when it comes out.
Yes. For the most part, the only thing that I'm waiting on is time to record the video, man.
Right.
You know, the life is moving too fast now.
That it
We need
is.
to calm down a little bit.
That it is.
But then I'm also working on I've got a Delta printer here. This is going to be the next 3D printer that I'm going to destroy in a video, except I'm not going to destroy this one.
You're not going to burn it?
I'm not going to burn this one.
Okay.
I'm not going to burn another one. I got to figure out another creative way to destroy the next one that I am going to destroy.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah, there will probably be a sledgehammer.
Concrete block dropped from about 7-8 feet.
I think that there are more than a few 3D printers that would stand up to that, and the concrete
Really?
block would just bounce off of it. I'm
talking about those K-rails like the construction guys have.
Oh yeah. Just take it to a construction site and have somebody run over it with it. Oh,
That would be funny.
that would be funny. I might do that. See if I got a buddy who can help me with that one.
So I'm not going to show what you're working on over here
Oh,
because
you can. It's not a big
Are you
deal.
sure?
Yeah, it's just a new laser cutter.
Well,
that
that's
I'm trying
what the
out.
print is for.
Yeah, there
That's
will be
a
a
sneak peek.
review for
That's a
this
sneak
one.
peek.
It's a diode laser cutter. It's another one of those, but this one's slightly better built.
Nice.
So,
Got a little bit more power to it.
no, same amount of power, but
Okay.
it comes with the enclosure already around it. It's got the camera in it. It's very nice.
Oh, really?
It's got a lot of features, but it's still got the bones of those really cheap diode laser cutters. Because actually, take a look at it. The power plug and the USB is sitting dangling out the front where my elbow's gonna knock it.
That is true.
And
I
they
just
do
knocked the
that
chair.
on all of the cheap ones. Like, why not? I mean, they've got 3 different ways to turn the dang thing off sitting up there,
Yeah.
and yet they can't route the USB out the side.
Yeah. Out the side or out the back, maybe?
or out the back or something.
Wow.
But it's still a beautiful, well-built machine. It comes with an enclosure. I'm not, for the price, I actually think it's really good. It's just
Yeah.
surprising to me that laser cutting technology feels like it's 10 years behind 3D printing technology.
Right.
Even though a lot of early 3D printers were made with laser cutters.
Right.
Laser, like I think we need to come to terms with the fact that 3D printing is a strange anomaly, that it leapfrogged ahead.
It really did.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I still don't know why.
You know, me and Calvin and you included, we've always talked about the toaster.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, you know, they were pushing until 3D printing became the toaster.
Yes.
Now you open up the box, you take and you load
Plug it in,
load
and
the software in your
yep.
computer, and you're off and running at this point.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
that's where we needed it to go eventually.
I'm also I reviewed a little while a 3D printer called the X Maker,
Yeah.
and I'm now currently reviewing the X Maker Joy. I got to record the video for that one. Both of those 3D printers, the X Maker more than the X Maker Joy, is designed to have you doing prints before you even load the software.
Wow.
Like loading the software can be a second thought to it.
That is awesome.
It's got a library of prints ready to go. Now, you plug it in, you start it running. They've got like 6-7 prints on the thumb drive. Then they've got an app.
Yeah.
So before you even touch a slicer, you've got a library of really cool prints to use.
Wow.
I love it. I really do love it. The X Maker Joy felt like a step backwards because they made it headless, so you have to load the app before you can do any printing.
Yeah.
But they've done a lot of work on the app recently, so I'm glad that I reviewed the X Maker Joy so that I could re-review their app. But I'm still going to say I think the X Maker is better.
Yeah.
But no, we've got 3D printers now. That is even more appliance-like. You don't even need a computer. You don't even need to load software.
That's a huge plus right there. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have computers anymore.
No.
I
Well,
don't know about you. I pay my bills on my phone.
I don't, but I know that I could. Creality K1.
Yeah.
You can run it completely from an app.
Right.
You don't have to load a computer anymore. It's better if you do.
Right.
But the Creality K1 can be completely run through your phone.
That's awesome.
So we are getting there.
Yeah.
We are getting there.
It's slowly but surely.
Yeah. It's,
what's
we're
the
living
price
in
on
the
a
future,
K1?
man. Creality K1, I'd have to look it up, but off the top of my head, I think it's about $600.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of the direction most printers are going. They're going that 500, 600.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know if you can get an affiliate link. I'll send you an affiliate link.
That's one company I've never worked with. They've never worked with me.
Interesting.
Which is all right. I mean,
I
don't do as much content.
videos. Yeah.
I don't do enough content anymore to justify it, and that's the reason why anymore. Everything I review is pretty much bought at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you're willing to put in that effort, if you're willing to put in that grind, and I tell you, I say, I have been sitting on the X Maker Joy video. It's been sitting in my studio waiting for me to hit record for a week.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had time to get out there and hit record on the video,
Well, I probably didn't help by going out to dinner last night.
No. Last night was going to happen. Last night was date night. That was going to happen either way. Yeah. No, it's been kids needing rides, having to take the kids to school and stuff like that. It's just that phase of my life now,
I hear you.
And but work around it.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm like a mid-tier 3D printing YouTuber, because I'm not willing to lose sleep over this.
Right. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like between work and home who has time anymore? About to bring out the Geiger counter and go into an antique shop.
I do love your Geiger counter videos. I do love it when you find an old plate that has radium paint on it and just sets off the Geiger counter. Is it the paint that's causing it?
It's the glaze. It's the glaze on most of your plates. Pretty much the stuff from before the early 50s. Pretty much they would use uranium in the glaze, and it would give it that orange color for most of it. But I found pink, and I've found one that was kind of a brownish pink.
It was just for the color?
It was just for the color. Yeah. Let's like give ourselves radiation poisoning for a color.
They didn't know what radiation.
No, they didn't.
But it makes what it makes me think is, what things are we doing now?
Well, that's the thing, especially with microplastics and everything that's coming up.
Well,
now,
like putting microplastic beads in our toothpaste.
Right.
Like, now we go, how dumb was that?
Right.
But at the time they were like, ooh, makes it look sparkly and pretty.
We got this amazing new idea. I know.
It blew my mind that it took the president of the United States saying, this is a bad idea, we need to stop doing it, for us to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we should have been like, so this never leaves your body and we don't know what it does. Maybe we should stop putting it in our body.
Look at Teflon.
Yeah,
Teflon was in everything for a minute.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're saying it's part of our makeup now. It's something that you take a blood test, they can measure your Teflon level.
Yep. I don't know if you saw the movie Dark Waters.
No, I never did.
Oh my God, it's all about that. It's
Really?
all about the Teflon. It's all about the scandal surrounding the company that wouldn't pay out.
Yeah.
And the lawyer who fought them, Mark Ruffalo, the guy who plays the Hulk, is the lawyer. Great, scary movie. Scary movie for how real it is.
Yeah.
But a great movie. I enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
And you can check it out at your local library where I work.
Oh, man. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, visiting with you.
Yeah, I'm always happy when you come through town, Jimmy.
I'm going to have to start making a run toward home here pretty soon. But
yeah. You got to get back on the road.
But guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, your 3D printing channel.
3D Printing Professor.
There you go.
Yeah. And
I know, but I just don't want him to say it.
That's right. But not 3D Printing Professor today, because today I'm just the Makerspace guy. So
there you go.
thanks for coming by, Jimmy.
Thank you, Joe. Take care.
We'll see you.
See you next time.
Mm-hmm.